Welcome to Domain 2 of your training course, Preparation. Here's where you'll learn how to prepare your class. We've divided this section into 3 parts: preparing coherent instruction, understanding knowledge content, and pre-assessing student learning goals. Preparing coherent instruction. One of the best ways to have a successful class is to prepare well. Preparing the class and being comfortable with the material that you're going to teach is absolutely essential. Before each class, you will receive the material, which will consist of a lesson plan and a PowerPoint. Here's a lesson plan. At the top, you'll see the grade, the book, and the title. You'll see several sections. One of them is the teaching and learning objectives. You'll also see the assessment criteria, which is what the student should be able to do after a successful class. The main body of the lesson plan is set out really clearly, so that you can see the slide number and the duration and really clear teaching instructions about how to go about teaching that particular slide or activity. You'll see that there are separate sections for both the foreign teacher and the Chinese teacher. It's really important that you understand and read all the material given to you. As a qualified teacher, you'll be able to exemplify an in-depth understanding of the topics, functions, teaching objectives, and the target language. You'll know the level and age of the students and will have a clear understanding of the objectives. A good teacher will show an in-depth understanding of the content by being able to plan in a logical way and by being flexible with the material, making adjustments where necessary. An excellent teacher, however, will be able to foresee any roadblocks or aspects which may interrupt the learning process and be able to plan ahead and tackle these. While you're reading the lesson plan, you should be asking yourself things like, what type of lesson is this? A review lesson where students can revise language, or where they need to be able to produce something? What do the students need to be able to do by the end of the lesson? And what can I do to make sure that the objectives are achieved? Now let's take a look at the PowerPoint content. This is what a sample PowerPoint looks like. As you can see, the title slide contains key information like grade and course and lesson title. All of the PowerPoints will contain a contents page so that you know exactly what to expect in each lesson. Just like the lesson plan, make sure that you go through the PowerPoint in detail. You'll need to be familiar with the types of activities that are included so that you can make adjustments if necessary. There may be animations that you'll need to be ready for, and most importantly, being prepared with the PowerPoint will allow you to logically prepare for your class. Understanding knowledge content. It's important that you encourage the students to interact with you using the target language. Not only do the students need to know how to use it, but it's also important to encourage them to deepen the use of language with examples from their own lives and culture. A qualified teacher will understand exactly how to help students use the language to interact and understand when and how to facilitate different types of activities. They will also encourage students to use the key language in a given context. A good teacher will be able to expand on these points and encourage the students to use the language in a different context. For example, talking about their own lives and their own culture. An excellent teacher, however, will refer the language back to more in-depth sources like Bloom's Taxonomy. Let's take a look at it here briefly. Bloom's Taxonomy refers to the different stages of learning, and this is really the core of the curriculum which microlanguage follows. An excellent teacher will recognize the value of this and encourage the students to sequence their skills based on this hierarchy. Pre-assessing student learning goals. As mentioned before, the assessment criteria which you saw in the lesson plan will indicate what a student should be able to do after a lesson. A qualified teacher will understand clearly what the assessment criteria is and what is expected of the student if the lesson has been successful. They'll be able to link this assessment criteria to the student's age and level. A good teacher will expand on these points and be able to link the content to the assessment criteria. They'll be able to use their own initiative to encourage the student to use what they've learned in the class and be able to create meaningful output with it. An excellent teacher will make a connection between the learning objectives and the content. They'll be able to think critically about the activities and be able to foresee any problems that may interrupt the learning process.